what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a valve adjustment from start to finish. We're going to be doing it on the 2009 dr200 SE. Should be the same for all models of the dr200 for the most part. Also, the procedure pretty much works on any air-cooled engine that has the Tappet style adjuster. So if you've got XR650L, if you've got DR200, if you got TW200, most likely the XT250, XT225 for sure, CRF230 or 230L, any bike like this is how, same procedure to do it on just about all of them. Slight differences, but for the most part the same. So the first tools we'll need is we're going to need a 10mm metric Allen to get the clutch nut cover or viewing window open, and then we'll need a 17mm to get the sight viewing window open so we can find top dead center. Okay, now that we've removed both of these bolts, the viewing window up top and the clutch nut access down here on the side, we'll take a 17mm socket, and what we want to do, we need to do two things. One, we have to be at top dead center, but we also need to make sure we're at top dead center on the compression stroke. How you know if you're on the compression stroke, if you turn the engine over a handful of times, you'll notice that every now and then, while you're at top dead center mark on the flywheel, you'll notice that sometimes the piston is easier to spin and sometimes it is not. The time that it is easiest to spin, where it feels like it could go either way, just if you blew on the wrench, it would just spin, that is top dead center on the compression stroke. The reason you know it's the compression stroke is simple, because you've got, on a healthy engine, 200 psi in the cylinder. That's what these bikes are supposed to compression test at. So okay, I'm back with a flashlight. And I'll post a picture, include a picture of what the mark you're looking for will look like. Like I said, if you're doing this on a different model, maybe slightly different, you may have a feasible region mark. This bike does not. So here I'm at the mark of top dead center. However, I'm not on the compression stroke, so we'll keep going. All right. Now this is our compression stroke. Again, how I know is because it feels like if I just blow on it, it will turn over one way or the other. Very little resistance on it at the moment. So that is top dead center of the compression stroke. Alright, now that we know we're at top dead center of the compression stroke, we can go ahead and reinstall these. We'll have no need to make any more adjustments. Just make sure that you remain at that top dead center location until the valves are done being adjusted. So for that purpose, I'll actually leave that one out just to verify, but we can go ahead and reinstall this 10mm Allen. And I cannot find a torque spec online, so for that purpose, when I torque it later, I'll probably go with something kind of mild, but right now I'll go with comfortably tight without being uncomfortably too tight. All right, now at this point, we need to gain access to our Tappet covers to make our adjustments, or at least make our check. You should never set out to adjust your valves. You should set out to check your valves and then adjust if needed. There's never any reason to loosen up your valves and set them from scratch. You should always check them. You'd be surprised on especially a small displacement bike like this, how long, time-wise or mileage-wise, your valves can stay in spec. But to do that, we need to gain access. So we need to remove this horn, which uses a 10mm bolt. Just remove it, bracket and all. If you remove the horn from the bracket's still kind of in the way. So we will let this hang like that, be out of our way. And then I will thread the bolt back in the hole so as to not lose it. All right, now that that's done, we can remove the tappet cover. We will use the same 17mm boxed in wrench that we used on the other side of the bike to remove our viewing window cover. So we'll go ahead and get both of these removed. Just like that. And now they're both loose. All right, now that I've taken the front cover off, I'd like to point out that on this particular bike, the O-ring groove, most times the O-ring will stay with the tappet adjuster itself. In both the front and back case of me, they stuck to the bike. So you can either leave it there if you think it's not going to go anywhere, you're not going to knock it off. I prefer to take it off and keep it with the cover itself, just in case. Another thing that I like to do is never take both covers off at the same time unless I'm positive that I can keep them separate. There's no reason to think me replacing that O-ring so I don't lose it or damage it or get dirt on it. There's no reason technically that you should have to do this. You should be able to take both covers off and swap them if you wanted to, but it takes no extra effort to keep them separated, and that's just the way I like to do that. Alright, I'm going to be using two types of feeler gauges here. This type here, I got this one from Rocky Mountain ATV. It's a Motion Pro, and unfortunately it's the only one I have that's like this. It's a 2 thou on one side, 3 thou on the other. Our valve spec is 3 thou to 5 thou. So I'm going to have to use my other set. I would have more of these in different sizes. I prefer these because they're really easy to get in here and check with because of their shape. However, when I went to order feather gauges, I was buying some other stuff from Revzilla. I love them. Everything I've got from them has been great. But unfortunately, they had this mispriced at $27. I know that had to be a misprint because Rocky Mountain ATV has them for $4.99. And I'm back. So anyway, yeah, Rocky Mountain has these for $4.99. I suggest picking some up. Revzilla, like I said, had them priced at $27. So since they obviously had it mispriced and I needed some, I just went ahead and got the whole Bike Master set. These will be a little more difficult to get in here and check with. I may have to actually bend one of them, but that's what we'll be using. And again, the spec we're looking for is 3 to 5 thousandths of an inch, and that is front and back, so intake and exhaust. Alright, I'm going to include some pictures here. It's very hard to get a good up close while filming this, but that was my 3 thou. It flew through there like a hot dog down the hallway. So now we're going to see if we can get a 5 thou to fit. I may actually have to kind of bend just the end of this a little to help allow me access. Alright, I finished up with the front there. It's really hard to get this on camera while doing it, but the front, like I said, 3 thou, flew down it like a hot dog down the hallway. However, 4 thou went easy, my 5 thou feeler gauge, which is the top of our spec, I feel like I could wedge it in there, but then I had to really like yank on it to get it out. So I would say that my front valve was checking at 5 thou, which is in spec. Normally your valves, especially exhaust valves, get tight over time. So considering that's at 5 thou, I would say it's perfect. So now we'll move on to our inspection of our intake valve, and I'll try to get a good picture of what that looks like with the gauge in there. I took a picture there for you. That was with my 3 thou. And now we'll remove that and we will see if we can get the 4 thou and or 5 thou to fit. The good thing I can go ahead and tell you about these longer, what brand did I say these were? Bike Master. These longer feather gauges is, even though the other set is ideally shaped, this set you can bend accordingly. So it's kind of a positive, but I would still recommend to buy the entire set of the Motion Pro. I prefer this. I've used these on multiple bikes. I just need to get me a full set. I think they go 2 to 3 like this one, and then the next one goes 4 to 5, and then they've got one that goes 6 to 7. And then one of them may skip a number. I'm not sure. You'd have to look at the whole set, but I would still highly recommend these, although these are working for me. So let's see if we can get one of these others to fit, and to gain access here on the back. And kind of, this job's a lot easier with the tank removed, obviously, but to do the job start to finish, removing the tank kind of adds more time than it's worth when you can just sit here and fight it for a couple minutes and usually get it done. I think that's it. Right there. Let's see. Yep, that is it. Right there. Alright, that is without question the 4 thou gauge in place, and we're pretty snug. So I'm gonna try for the 5 off camera. We'll see what happens. Alright, so off camera I could not get my 5 to go, but I could get my 4 to go. So my exhaust then is at a 5, and my intake side is, like I said, at a 4. I'm gonna show you a trick that makes this a lot easier. Sometimes when you're trying to get that final size to go, it's really hard to tell sometimes if it goes in or not, especially when you're working in such a tightly confined space. So what I like to do is, if you see your actual adjuster that the actual nut in there, the adjuster, instead of trying to come at it from the front or from one side, come at it from the hardest angle. The reason is because if you wedge it in there and it goes and you get it to pass, then you'll know it because you went all the way through from side to side. If you're coming at it from the front, sometimes it's hard to tell if you've went where you're supposed to, or if you've missed to the left or to the right, and you just think it's in there. So the easiest thing to do for me is to come at it from one particular side, and then if it passes through, kind of move it back and forth. Right now it's in place. I know for a fact it's in place, but then I can come through and out the other side. So go in on one side, know that you're past your aiming point so that you're not just missing the front of it, and come up under it. You should be able to feel that you're up under it, and then come out the other side. And then as you get to thicker feeler gauges, if you're coming at it from the front, especially with them tapered ones, it's real easy for them to deflect off to the side. So you feel like you're up under it, and really the feeler gauge is running between the thread pitch of the screw on the adjuster. So you feel some resistance, and then you go to take it out, and you just realize it fell, just pulled right out. So come at it from one side, and then that way, as long as you come out on the other side, you know that you went underneath it. I mean, there's no other way it could have happened. And again, it's easy with these thinner ones, but once you get up to the actual spec or wherever it's checking, once you sneak up on it real close within a thousandths, it could be really difficult to get the gauge to go. And so that's one trick that helps. So now that we've got it complete on the intake side, we will replace our tappet cover. And there's a couple things that go without saying when you're doing a job like this. Clean your bike. Don't be trying to do this with mud and rocks and debris all over it. At the very least, clean the engine, the area you'll be working in. There's no reason to try to do this job with your bike looking filthy. You're going to end up getting debris off in there, and it's just not going to be good. So we're going to tighten down this tappet cover. We're going to recheck the front, which I know I tightened, the exhaust. We're going to add our horn bolt back, and we're going to replace the viewing window on the other side of the bike. Verify that you're still at top dead center with your mark, and that'll have this job complete. All right, now that we got all the covers back on the bike, this job is complete. Thank you for watching. I hope it helped you in some way, and I apologize for any filming inconveniences. This job is a really hard job to do, especially by yourself, one-handed, and film at the same time. I could remove the tank to get a little better of a video for you guys, but I just really didn't feel like it, to be honest. There's no need to remove the tank when you're actually performing the job. So if anything, this video at least shows you that. But it is a lot easier to do the job if you remove the tank. But you've got the added time invested in removing the tank. So anyway, yeah, I hope this helps you in some way. Like I said, this basic procedure is the same for almost all air-cooled, small single-cylinder DualSports, dirt bikes, what have you. Anything that has that Tappet style adjuster. Fortunately for me, I was in spec, so I don't have to show you guys how to actually perform the adjustment if needed. Thankfully, they were in spec, because that would have been even more difficult to try to film. But if yours are out of spec, you're positive they're out of spec, there should be plenty of other videos showing this. A good one would be to look at Honda Z50 or XR50 adjustments. Those are real easy to film. They have large ports on them. So to actually find a video on the exact adjustment, how to perform it, I would say go there. A lot of people that film those videos will just pull the engine out of the bike, so you get a good clean look of how to do it. But that is how to at least inspect them on a DR200. So thanks for watching. Hope that helps you. See you next time.